everything.
We are now live recording.
Diane, we get our stuff fixed from the last meeting.
Yeah, it was fixed. Hopefully.
We had changed some of the settings, not for this, this was fine.
Okay.
It was for the Wi-Fi for the whole building.
Oh, wow.
They had to go in the control room and repair things,
God bless.
so it wasn't me
Of course not.
this time.
Actually, being a couple minutes behind makes it interesting, too. Kind of like those, the foreign movies where people's lips are moving. And
Karate
words are
movies.
coming out. Yeah, the lips don't match with the...
Sorry.
6 weeks.
Oh, you called it, didn't you?
2, 4. Get it done nice and quick.
See, the clock's not working. We got 1 minute. Good evening, how you doing? Good.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Start off. Basically.
Congratulations. That would be funny. We should have all done it. We should have all worn ugly sweaters.
I should have worn my ugly
Oh,
sweater.
yeah,
Are
this
you,
should have been a
isn't
big
that
sweater
your ugly
meeting.
sweaters?
Yeah.
That would have been fun.
Worth more than your whole.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Lancaster Town Board Work Session for December 6, 2024. We have one presenter this evening who is from Spring Hill Suites regarding the parking and entrance expansion at 6647 Transit Road. Jason? Ken? Uh-oh.
Jason had a conflict, we had to do that in the meeting.
Okay. All right.
So I'm prepared for him.
Ken, what's your last name?
Zalich. Diane probably knows how to spell it, but,
There. Thank you very much.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, my old eyes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Aye.
Persuade.
Bob, what was the address you said again?
I have on here 6647 is different.
Yeah.
Says it on there.
No, 66.
Oh, it's right on the side.
yeah, on the
It's
side.
right there. Thank you.
Yeah, so, on behalf of the Spring Hill Suites, or 6647 Transit Road LLC, we're just looking for referrals to the planning board. What they're looking to do is expand their parking lot down at what would be the east end of the site. We're adding on 57 additional spaces towards the rear of the property, utilizing the existing parking lot back there, kind of shifting the aisles to create the larger parking room. In addition to that, we're also proposing an entrance onto Freeman Road from the back here to provide for better circulation through the site itself. The owner of Fort Spring Hill Suites does actually own this strip of land that runs from their property out to Freeman Road. There's a portion that is utilizing the existing asphalt drive from the adjacent hotel, but that is actually their property, the Spring Hill Suites property. And that adjacent hotel does have an easement over that to be able to use that. So as the owners of the property, they are looking to connect there. and expand down to Freeman for a secondary entrance. And I mean, that about sums it up. This is pretty straightforward. This is under an acre of disturbance total, so we're not falling into that New York State category of stormwater requirements, but we do understand, of course, we are looking at some of the town requirements. And we have proposed a single stormwater facility here located at the south end of the proposed parking lot expansion. Beyond that, I mean, I can take any questions. There's not a whole lot to this project.
Matt, any questions?
Not really, no. It actually improves the traffic, the interconnectivity of all those units and increases some parking, does some stormwater management.
Very good. Ed, anything?
No,
Okay.
pretty straightforward. Should be.
Board members? No? I don't have any questions either.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Would we expect a submittal prior to the holidays or post?
Good question. It'll be tight. I think we're probably pretty close to being in a submission ready state, probably 8 shots or something like that. But yeah, I know we've already worked out the majority of the design here, so we may have it into you before the week's up here. We're off next week anyways, or at least most people are, so it'll either be by Friday or after the New Year.
All right, thank you.
Okay, all right.
Take care. Okay, what we're going to do is go around the room with our department heads and see what's going on in each different department. Let's start with the chief tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am bringing forward a resolution tonight, number 10. I do notice the vehicle listed on number 10 is not the correct vehicle. It should be a 2023 Dodge Durango Pursuit versus the Dodge Charger. That was the communication we sent out that we had to kind of change directions on that.
It's correct on the
It's correct on
resolution.
here.
Okay.
Typo on the
Okay.
agenda. So,
Other than that, do you guys have any questions for me? Nope. That's all I got tonight.
Okay, thank you. John? John's group did another excellent job plowing the streets. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you. It's a lot
Compliments
that's
from the residents.
on tonight. First off, I got to apologize to Diane for, the mailbox. The three-headed mailbox, so it's, I've never seen one like that before. She's literally has 3 boxes on one, but we got to it.
Yes, you
It's all
did,
good.
and very quickly. Thank
Yeah,
you.
quite the weather week, as you know. Our crews were called out several times this past week. Nearly 2 feet of lake effect, covered mostly the south part of town. I'm really happy to report again, the communication that with me and Bob and Chief and Ron, I mean, it helps out tremendously. It really does. And now I'm happy to say Melissa put me in touch with Dr. Kufa, and me and him were in touch throughout the night about closing school and stuff like that. So it's a really good feeling to have people around you. It really is, and it helps us out tremendously. We got in a little jam, not us, but there was a resident that went off the road down in Bowen. I think I told you about it, right near Hall. Tow trucks couldn't get it out. Dispatch called us, and after about an hour, we were able to get a loader down there and pull the gentleman out. So our crews did a great job the entire time. I think they had something like 28 hours of straight overtime. Want to thank the board again. Every time I'm up here and we have these big storms, the equipment that you give us is just a tremendous help. The new loader with the plow and wings on it is absolutely amazing, and it's able to scoop snow away from cul-de-sacs and away from driveways, and that's always the biggest complaint when you're down in that cul-de-sac. All the snow is coming down, and where's it going to go? It's going to go in the driveway. So that's going to make a lot of residents happy. We will have mailbox crews out all week, so residents know to just call us and we'll come and fix them. A shout out to William Street School. We did our Name a Truck Plow Contest last week. It was awesome. We have 12 winners. Buffalo Joe's dad showed up with signed paraphernalia for one of the winners. It was just an awesome event. We love keeping the kids engaged. I talked to Chief a little bit and Dawn about Stony Brook. I know we got some issues there with some traffic. I think we came up with a pretty solid plan. We're just going to put no parking signs, 500 feet on each side, north and south. We'll monitor it and come up with a better way for next year and move forward. That's
Very
it.
good.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Nick?
Good evening.
Evening.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
I had a lot of fun at the Christmas party. Thank you for putting that together. It was great to get out and meet everybody that I haven't met so far and put some names or faces to names. That's how you say it. My team's been working hard on closing the books for November. So the preliminary results, unaudited of course, but everything ties out. We were at a deficit of 2.1 million in November. But year to date, we're at a surplus of 2.3 million. So given that same performance this coming month, we should be right around break even. I'm more of a conservative estimator. I'm looking at roughly $1 million deficit, which is a lot better compared to the budgeted deficit of 4 million. And other than that, we're starting our preliminary audit field testing tomorrow with Drescher and Malecki on the fiscal year 2024. I think we're in a much better place going into this audit than we were last year. So I'm actually looking forward to it, hoping to see that the processes that I've put in place are working out. And we'll have some end of year numbers shortly, see where we all stand. That's all I have. Any questions?
Payroll audit?
Payroll audit is wrapping up. We should be meeting with the respective union leaders this week. We have the report in its final form. We just want to have an exit meeting with our lead auditor, Charles, and the respective union leaders. Pretty much, there were things that went wrong. They didn't do things properly, but from everything that we saw, they fixed all of the issues, really. Now it's really just an issue where, their people were making a mistake, and they had to correct it, and they were charging us fees to correct it, which I don't think is right. But so now that we have this report, this audit, it clearly spells out what went wrong, what they did wrong. It does say that, eventually it was fixed. So now it's going to be a legal battle, I believe, whether or not we can claw back some of these fees charged to the town. Thank you.
Thank you. Ron?
Good evening.
Good evening.
As John reported about the storm during the week, morning storm was about 4 to 6 inches, mostly down south. During the morning was kind of more like a dusting up north. And then in the evening, that storm rolled in about 2 hours ahead of what was anticipated and dumped about 1.5 feet to 2 feet on the south end of town. Pretty much stopped snowing around 10:30 or so. And again, all the highways did a fantastic job in cleaning the roads. No problems, no major injuries that I was made aware of, so things went very well. Tonight, I would encourage the board to support Resolution 14. It's the contract extension for LVAC while we work with them to hopefully work out an agreeable contract for long-term. Okay. Any questions? No, that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Carmen?
Hi, Karen.
Good evening.
It's short. Everything's going good. We had some snow removal with the storms, obviously. We kept Gummo's request. We put someone on. We had it clean. By morning when we came in, there was nothing there. The heating system got put in at the building down below of rec. That's working. The guys are going to be putting some drywall up above it for safety. There's a resolution for 22. We have some money in the library. We want to carpet the entrance. It's a safety carpet, so it will clean your feet as you walk in, so you don't have to worry about people slipping, and the floor is shocked, and so is the hallway. So we're going to have that done. I met with the library board and Melissa, and there's a couple other projects we got going there, and I think besides that, vehicles, we had one incident with a vehicle. That's at the shop now, and everything's going pretty well. Any questions? A good party. And that, and
Thank you.
and being that I live in Stony Brook, traffic isn't as crazy yet, but I think we're up to almost $40,000 we raised for the Boys Club. So,
Very good.
but I think the highways no parking signs are helping a lot. So, being it's on my side of the road, the no parking. So, but
Thank you very much. Okay, anything the board members want to bring up at this point in time, or go through the resolutions?
I can raise committee when we get to committee. so.
Get to the committee first? Okay.
Same.
Okay, let's go run through the resolutions. Number one is mine, from the minutes of the regular meeting of the town board held December 2nd. Number two, approve the audited claims. Councilmember Dickman, number 3.
That's the issuance of building permits for the month.
Councilmember Burkhart, 4 and 5, please.
Authorized salvage yard license Ed Henning, Inc., and authorized salvage yard license Advantage Trucks.
Okay, Councilmember Dickman, 6 through 10.
6 is authorized special use permit for 10 Lancaster Parkway. 7 is a special use permit for Western Auto at 5255 Genesee. Number 8 is authorized special use permit for Western Auto Group at 6501 Transit Road. Number 9 is authorized special use permit for MJJ Property Management, and that's for mulching, shredding, and processing at 6140 Genesee Street. Number 10 is to approve the purchase of a 2023 Dodge Durango for the Lancaster Police Department.
Okay, resolution number 11, award quote for the replacement of the pedestrian bridge in Enchanted Forest south to Hunting Valley. 12 is adopt seeker negative declaration for Westwood Park expansion. I want to put a couple of soccer fields in there, if possible. Number 13, set public hearing regarding fire protection service contracts with our fire protection services. Number 14, rescind the resolution adopted November 4th regarding Lancaster Volunteer Ambulance Corps Incorporated contract, and authorize an additional 6 months to have time to work on an agreement. Number 15, authorize supervisor to execute intermunicipal agreement, Village of Lancaster. That's with their building inspection department services. Number 16, adopt updated harassment policy retroactive to 2023, becomes the official policy for the town. Councilmember Dickman, 17 and 18, please.
Thank you. Number 17 is to approve the purchase of a Lenco Bearcat, and that's for the Lancaster Police SWAT team. If you don't know what it is, look them up. It's pretty cool. Number 18 is authorized special use permit for Northeast Diversification at 954 Ransom Road, also known as 2 Cadby Industrial Park.
Okay, number 19, approve expenditure of funds for filing cabinets for the town attorney's office. Number 20, authorize transfers in the 2024 budget regarding building and zoning. Councilmember Dickman, number 21, please.
This is to authorize a 1-year extension to the site plan for Angry Buffalo Sports Garden on Worley Drive.
And Councilmember Studley, number 22, please.
This is to authorize the purchase and installation of the carpet at the Lancaster Public Library, as Carmen spoke about before.
Very good. 23, authorize special use permit for Anastasia Trucking and Paving Company, Contractor's Yard, processing and storage topsoil. Number 24, authorize the supervisor to execute the intermunicipal agreement with Erie County regarding the Walden Pond Park athletic artificial turf installation. County's going to give us $300,000, and we got to thank Frank Tadaro for making that possible. Number 25, authorized transfers for the 2024 budget regarding American Rescue Plan Act. Number 26 and number 27, Councilmember Dickman.
Number 26 is the authorized special use permit for 6699 Transit Road. And last but not least is the special use permit for Kyle Whalen for Eurocharged at 515 Pavement Road.
Okay, that concludes our work session for this evening. We'll be back at 7 o'clock to start, unless you guys had anything for the work session. Matt, Ed, anything special?
No, I update on the turf field. I talked to A-Turf. They're finalizing their design drawings, hopefully to go over them right after the holidays, so they'll be ready to roll in the spring.
Okay.
For the turf field. And Erie Street water line is done, complete, and mill and pave in the spring.
Very good. Matt, anything else?
I can present during the meeting, or if you'd like to hear a report tonight, right now.
No, go right ahead. We got time now.
I want to acknowledge all the work that went behind resolution number 15 on both municipalities with the town and the village. All of that input produced the best contract available for both parties. It's very much appreciated. I want to reiterate the information that was discussed tonight about our 2 snowstorms and all the events that happened. And it doesn't just end when the snow stops falling, right? Everybody does maintenance work. The highway crews did an outstanding job. And if I can remind all of our private property owners and residents that it's a partnership between everybody involved. And the highway department is at the be-all, end-all, but everybody has to do their part in that. Those areas of the right-of-way are meant for the road storage, private property. Please store your snow on your private property so that we can have clear visuals exiting and entering driveway onto the highways. We're noticing a lot of very high piles right at the road's edge, the driveway edges, very difficult to see pedestrians and traffic. And then lastly, sidewalk maintenance. Again, it's hard to keep up with, especially when you have a very large lot and a long length of sidewalk, but it should be incorporated with the snow removal plan. And again, that area between the sidewalk and the curb is meant for the roadway storage, driveway approaches and sidewalks, that if you could put that on the private property side, it would be very helpful to everybody involved. It'll clear some sight lines. And again, just from a complaint that we received, we're going to issue 17 complaints along the southern stretch of Transit Road within our town, just from businesses not having a plan to clear those pedestrian walkways. And they do get used. Even if it's by 3 people, they do get used. So it's really important to stay on it and maintain them well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Diane, anything for this evening?
We just finished the last of the school tax collection. Thank you to everyone who supports the schools this way. We collected 57 million to the penny, and we are already gearing up for town and county starting in January. We got a new employee in the tax office. She did a little bit at the end of the school tax collection. She's going to work out great, so thank you for letting me appoint her. And other than that, in the clerk's office, we're working on the beginning of the year resolutions, all the appointments and the salary resolutions, everything that goes with the first meeting of the year.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Emily?
Thank you. I don't have anything to report.
Okay. All right, we'll be back here at 7 o'clock to start the town board meeting for the evening.
In the meantime, the live streaming will continue. How you been feeling?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this, go about 15 minutes, I'm just staring out to sea. Around.
Yeah, that's all you can see is like.
Yeah, and it's just staring in the road. It was about the worst I've done in 2 years. Maybe.
Yeah. I didn't hear anything else from anyone, so hopefully they don't make it too long. By the time they were leaving, that's how we were.
Yeah. Jill was one who lives on my street.
Oh, right.
I'm 3/4 mile further south.
Trying to deal with icing on that turf field out there. Talk to anybody. Everything's online.
Sure, because I had to go to Holland Creek, and it's like, are these we went to 2 hours right now?
According to the plans I've been find, they actually laid a empty conduit from the pole back to the building, and they laid the first conduit.
She called me.
That's what I said, so hopefully it's there. I can't confirm it. Hopefully it's there.
When she got there, it was perfectly. I can't.
Yeah.
If I really want to come out,
There's only 100 amp service in that building now, and they need around a whole 200 amp service back.
I'm still waiting for hips and mail.
This is about a couple weekends. Really, my son's daughter, she gives her chocolate. My nephew's amazing. I can't. But even so, it's easy. My sister and I were so Target, we're online. Honestly, everything. And then I'll take it back to them, or they okay.
First night I was there, first, second night, to this massive bracket.
Yeah.
we're building, one of the cheapest place in town is Home Depot. It's two-car wide garage door.
16 by 7?
By 8, actually.
Oh, 8.
Yeah. And the door was cheap enough, but they wanted like $900 to the wall. I said, no. I said, just fill it in. And I found a guy in Lockport. Individual sold. The guy doesn't know work. You work in garage doors? Well, yeah, you fix them, put them in. How much you charge for it? $400. I said, sold. So it's laying in the garage, wherever you can get to.
All right. Hey, Carmen. Too bad. I'm not sure.
I just thought it was off by an hour, but.
Oh, no, no, it's not working. Or the batteries too.
Yeah, I think I wasn't feeling it.
So mine says 2.
Yours says what?
It's 59.
Okay. Good evening, and welcome to the Lancaster Town Board meeting for December 6, 2024. Diane, roll call, please.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Here.
Councilmember Dickman.
Here.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Here.
Councilmember Studley.
Here.
Supervisor Leary.
Here. The pledges of allegiance and the invocation will be done by Councilmember Melissa Studley tonight. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing.
As we gather today during this festive season, let us give thanks for the blessings of the year and the opportunity to come together as a board. May the spirit of the holidays, filled with generosity and goodwill, guide our discussions and decisions as we plan for the future. We ask for wisdom and unity in our deliberations, that our actions reflect the positive values we hold dear during this special time.
Thank you. Okay, this evening we have 27, yes, you heard that correctly, pre-filed resolutions. We have 0 suspended resolutions, 0 public hearings, no executive sessions. We will close in memory tonight of Edward Kostaki and William Katansky. Okay. At this point in time, we're going to move on to anyone who wants to address the town board on any of the pre-filed resolutions. The town board will hear the concerns of persons desiring to address the town board on any pre-filed or there are no suspended resolutions for a total period of 30 minutes. Please raise your hand, give your name and address to the town clerk, speak directly to the town board members, not to the audience, using the microphone provided up here at the podium, and speak once for 5 minutes or less unless the town board grants a speaker an extension of this time limit. Does anybody want to address the town board on any of the pre-filed resolutions? Come on up, sir.
Good evening. My name is Chester Popularkowski. I live at 44 Robert Drive in Lancaster. I want to speak tonight in regards to resolution number 14. Good evening, board members, residents, and LVAC friends. In November, the Lancaster Volunteer Ambulance Corps submitted a proposal to the town's RFP for emergency services. The town responded with a request to extend our current contract, which is due to expire on December 31st, for 6 months. The LVAC board approved this extension. We understand that this extension gives LVAC and the time to negotiate a long-term contract for ambulance service and job security for our staff. LVAC is open to discussing how the town's needs may have changed during our current contract. We respectfully ask to sit down with the town's representative soon so that we can continue the negotiating process and sign a multi-year contract well before the June 30th, 2025. This year, LVAC will respond to over 8,000 calls. About 3,500 of these calls are from Lancaster. You know, the board members, that the residents of Lancaster look at LVAC as their ambulance service, and rightfully so. LVAC's close work with the town started in 1953 when no local ambulance service existed here. It was volunteers from within the police department who founded LVAC. We continue to be a nonprofit, community-driven organization. The Lancaster community trusts LVAC. We have touched the lives of so many families during difficult emergency situations and circumstances over these 70-plus years. But LVAC also supports the community beyond the letter of our official contract. We provide free hands-only CPR training, and in fact, tomorrow and Wednesday, we will be teaching CPR at the Lancaster High School to over 150 students. We also provide free ambulance standbys at many community events, including several days during the 4th of July festivities. But most important, our technical expertise and effective track record on EMS, our technical expertise and effective track record as EMS professionals. Our medical director has deep professional ties to the emergency department at Erie County Medical Center and is the medical director for the Buffalo Fire Department. With that said, we all see the challenges facing the field of EMS in Western New York, across the state, and nationally. Statewide, from 2019 to 2022, the number of paramedics dropped from 40,000 to 33,000. That's a decline of 17.5%, and it's a trend that continues. However, LVAC believes that together we can deal with these issues facing our field, that we can problem solve effectively and create a contract that will secure service for the Lancaster community. We are pleased that you have decided LVAC is the team you want to work with and the team local families want. We hope to sit down soon and expeditiously work out contract details so that the town, LVAC, and our residents will all benefit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, does anybody else want to address the town board on any of the pre-filed resolutions? Please raise your hand. Okay, I don't see any other hands raised at this point in time, so we're going to move on to our official reports from the town board. Any official reports?
Do you want to go first?
I had 2 committee reports.
Well, go ahead, we can do them at this point, and then.
That's what I was waiting for, the committee reports. So first committee would be Grant Committee. Ed and I have been working closely with the grant writers. And this week, on the 20th, the grant will be submitted for the DCO edition. And then also tomorrow, as far as Youth Bureau is concerned, Youth Bureau, and I do have to thank a lot of the employees here of the town of Lancaster, as well as the police department, for their help and their donations to the Youth Bureau. the numbers that have come in here is that they're going to be servicing 108 families. That includes 300 children in our community that will receive gifts and food and on the day of the giving tomorrow. So thank you to all of our town employees who've pitched in so far and those that are going to pitch in tomorrow. That's it.
All right, Councilmember Studley?
Yes, I just had two quick committee updates. The library, the staff room renovations are going along. They had said that there's really just little touch-ups and then it should be completed, which is great for them. And then, as Carmen had said in our previous meeting, he attended our meeting on Thursday with the library board, and we had discussed some other projects that would be beneficial to have completed in the library, and we'll probably, if resolutions are needed, we'll be seeing those come through. There's a lot of updating that needs to be done in the building, so that is for that. And then I believe John Pilato already kind of touched on it, but I did get into contact with Dr. Kufel, our new superintendent of schools. I have his contact information, and I shared that with Ron and with John so that they can all be connected for any snow emergencies and things like that. And he and I can also have conversations and whatnot too.
Okay. Very good. Anything else? Okay, we said it during the work session, but once again, I think we need to thank the Highway Department, Rec Park Buildings for the great job they did in clearing all the snow, and the Police Department, of course, and Ron Rosler for keeping track of everything so we could kind of coordinate everything. But a great job by everybody. Again, nothing but compliments from the people that I've heard from, so great job. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to the resolutions. Okay, resolution number 1 is mine. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of the town board held December 2nd, 2024 be and are hereby affirmed. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 2, be it resolved that the following audited claims be and are hereby ordered, paid from their respective accounts as per abstract to be filed in the office of the town clerk by the supervisor's office, to wit, check run number 12162-024. Total amount hereby authorized to be paid, $577,328.60. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, resolution number 3, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Honorable Board, I offer Resolution 3 for adoption. Resolved that the following building permit applications be and are hereby reaffirmed. There's 21 in the town, 12 in the village, for a total of 33. Now therefore be it resolved that the building permit applications coded CSW for conditional sidewalk waiver be and are hereby reaffirmed with a waiver of the town ordinance required for sidewalks. However, if the waiver is granted upon the express condition that the town of Lancaster at any future date reserves the right to order sidewalk installation at the expense of the property owner.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Burkhart, numbers 4 and 5, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board. I'm offering resolutions 4 and 5 for adoption. Whereas Elfrida Hanazuski, DBA at Henning Inc., 911 Ransom Road, has applied for a renewal license to conduct a salvage yard on premises situated on 911 Ransom Road within the town of Lancaster, pursuant to Chapter 275 Salvage Yard and Chapter 400-23D Junkyard Salvage Yard Design Standards of the Code of the Town of Lancaster. And whereas the application was referred to the town board for review, and whereas the building inspector by letter dated December 5th, 2024, has notified the town board that he has completed his review and made a favorable recommendation thereto. Now therefore be it resolved that Elfrida Hanuski, DBA at Henning Inc., be and is hereby authorized to conduct a salvage yard on premises situated at 911 Ransom Road, Lancaster, New York, for the period January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025, in strict conformance with the application of the petitioner as filed in the office of the town clerk.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes.
Resolution 5, whereas AdvantageTrucks.com LLC, 933 Ransom Road, Lancaster, New York, has applied for a renewal license to conduct a salvage yard on premises situated at 933 Ransom Road within the town of Lancaster pursuant to Chapter 275 Salvage Yard and Chapter 400-23D Junkyard Salvage Yard Design Standards of the Code of the Town of Lancaster. Whereas the application was referred to the town board for review, and whereas the building inspector, by letter dated December 5th, 2024, has notified the town board that he has completed his review and made a favorable recommendation thereto. Now therefore be it resolved that AdvantageTrucks.com LLC, Ransom Road, Lancaster, and is hereby authorized to conduct a salvage yard on premises situated at 933 Ransom Road for the period January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025, in strict conformance with the application of the petitioner as filed in the office of the town clerk.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, number 6 through 10, please.
Thanks again, Mr. Supervisor. Honorable Board, I offer Resolution 6 through 10. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster does hereby grant the renewal of the special use permit to Keith A. Wilkinson for the storage of recreational vehicles on the premise located at 10 Lancaster Parkway in the Town of Lancaster upon the terms and conditions set forth in the zoning ordinance for the period of December 19, 2024 through December 18, 2026, and that the applicant will continue in compliance with conditions as set forth in light industrial and supplementary regulations for light industrial district and special use permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and to any additional conditions listed herein as long as the applicant continues to engage in the occupation listed above on the premise, namely, and that has the 4 original conditions since it's a renewal.
And do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes.
Number 7, now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to Chapter 400 zoning, Article 5 Commercial District, Section 18, General Commercial, permitted uses of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster does hereby grant a renewal of the special use permit to Western Auto Group, 5255 Genesee Street, Bowmansville, New York, upon the terms and conditions set forth in zoning ordinance for the period beginning January 13, 2025, and ending January 12, 2027, and that the applicant will continue in compliance with the conditions set forth in general commercial districts, supplementary regulations for LI and GC district, and special use permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and to any additional conditions listed herein as long as the applicant continues to engage in the occupation listed on the premise, namely, and again, this is a renewal, so I'm not going to read all 5 of the conditions.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes.
Number 8, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster does hereby grant the special use permit renewal to Western Auto Group for special use permit to operate an auto dealership which includes mechanical servicing and body repairing of motor vehicles on the premise located at 6501 Transit Road, Bowmansville, in the Town of Lancaster, upon the terms and conditions set forth in the zoning ordinance for the period beginning December 21st, 2024, and ending December 20th, 2026, and that the applicant will continue in compliance with conditions set forth in general commercial districts, supplementary regulations for LC and GC districts, and special use permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and to any additional conditions listed herein, as long as the applicant continues to engage in the occupation listed above on the premise, namely, and that has the 3 original conditions.
And do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes.
Number 9, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster does hereby grant a renewal of the special use permit to MJJ Property Management LLC for a special use permit to perform mulching, shredding, and processing on the premise locally known as 6140 Genesee Street, Lancaster, New York, upon the terms and conditions set forth in the zoning ordinance for the period beginning January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025, and that the applicant will continue in compliance with the conditions set forth in agricultural residential districts, overlay district, and special use permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and with the following conditions, and there are 7 conditions on this permit renewal.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes.
Resolution number 10. Whereas William Gummo, Chief of Police for the Town of Lancaster Police Department, by letter dated December 5th, 2024, has requested the purchase of one new 2023 Dodge Durango Pursuit all-wheel drive for the Lancaster Police Department, and whereas the vehicle will be purchased through the Onondaga County Law Enforcement contract awarded to Robert Green Auto and Truck Incorporated of Rock Hill, New York, which will eliminate the need for competitive bidding pursuant to Section 103 of the General Municipal Law. And whereas the cost for one new 2023 Dodge Durango Pursuit is $39,929.80, being paid for from budget line 3120-220 passenger vehicles. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster has previously adopted an operating budget for the 2024 fiscal year, and whereas the 2024 operating budget requires the following budget transfers to allow for this expenditure: increase the passenger vehicles budget line $17,400 to accommodate the purchase of the vehicles, increase sales and equipment $17,400 to reflect receipt of auction proceeds. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby approves the purchase of one new 2023 Dodge Durango Pursuit from Robert Green Auto and Truck Incorporated, Rock Hill, New York, and will be purchased per the Onondaga County Law Enforcement contract for a total amount not to exceed $39,929.80, which will be paid for from the budget line passenger vehicles.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 11. Whereas the Town Board has previously duly advertised a request for quotes for a replacement pedestrian bridge on Enchanted Forest South, and whereas 2 quotes were received, opened, and reviewed on December 5th, 2024, whereas Edward Schiller, the town's consulting engineer, by letter dated December 6, 2024, has recommended awarding the quote to Hunting Valley Construction Incorporated, located at 825 Rain Road, Cheektowaga, being the lowest quote in the amount of $44,400. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby awards the request for quote for the replacement pedestrian bridge to Hunting Valley Construction in an amount not to exceed $44,400. That being the lowest quote in conformance with the specifications on file in the Office of William Shutt and Association. Be it further resolved that the expense will be paid for from 2024 Bond Issue Capital Project 90235, and be it further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to execute the contract upon receipt and approval of the required documents and insurance certificates by the town attorney's office. Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 12. Whereas the Town Board is considering the proposed expansion of Westwood Park, West End, submitted by the Town of Lancaster for a approximately 8-acre parcel located at 175 Pavement Road, SBL number 105.00-4-65 in the Town of Lancaster. And whereas the Town Board has considered the plans for the project using the short environmental assessment form, the criteria for determining significance set forth in 6 NYCRR Section 617.7C of the State Environmental Quality Review Act regulations and such other information deemed appropriate. And whereas the Town Board has identified the relevant areas of environmental concern, has taken a hard look at these areas, and has made a reasons elaboration of the basis for its determination, whereas the proposed action has been labeled an unlisted action under seeker. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster, 1, this project is described as an expansion of Westwood Park for the proposed construction of 3 universal sports fields located at 175 Pavement, will not result in any large and important environmental impacts, and therefore will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment. 2, the reasons supporting this determination are set forth on the attached notice of determination. 3, the town board as lead agency with reference to the above described action hereby adopts the attached negative declaration of environmental significance. 4, the town clerk will file a copy of the negative declaration in the file for the project. 5, the town attorney's office shall prepare and file a notice of determination with the petitioner and with all required New York State and Erie County agencies. And 6, this resolution is effective immediately. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, on the question, and again, what we're trying to do here is put a couple more fields into Westwood Park. I think the people know that the referendum that went out failed to put an additional park in the town of Lancaster, so we're going to take advantage of our parks and do the best we can for all the residents. On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes. Resolution number 13. Whereas the town of Lancaster has negotiated contracts for fire protection services with the Bowmansville Volunteer Fire Association Incorporated, Mill Grove Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated, Town Line Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated, and Twin District Volunteer Fire Company Incorporated. And whereas the town board must conduct a public hearing before approving said contracts, now therefore be it resolved, a public hearing will be held before the town board on January 6, 2025 at 7:05 p.m. here at Lancaster Town Hall, at which time all interested persons shall be heard in regard to the fire protection contracts. 2, the town clerk is directed to publish notice of this public hearing in the Lancaster Bee no less than 10 days prior to the public hearing. And 3, this resolution shall take effect immediately. Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes. Resolution number 14. Whereas by resolution adopted on November 4th, 2024, the town board of the town of Lancaster authorized the supervisor to send a letter of termination to Lancaster Volunteer Ambulance Corps Incorporated. And whereas after several discussions with LVAC, the town of Lancaster would like to rescind the termination letter and enter into a 6-month extension of the current contract with LVAC under the same terms. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the resolution adopted by the town board on November 4th, 2024, authorizing the supervisor to terminate the contract with LVAC is hereby rescinded, and be it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to sign a 6-month extension of the current contract with LVAC on the same terms. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, on the question? And I just want to say we're looking forward to the negotiations, and we will start as soon as possible. Okay? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes. Resolution number 15. Okay. Whereas it is in the public interest to renew the municipal cooperative agreement with the Village of Lancaster, which allows for the Town of Lancaster's Building Department to perform building permits and inspections for the Village of Lancaster at an agreed-upon rate. And whereas the attorney for the Town of Lancaster, along with the attorney for the Village of Lancaster, have negotiated and prepared a renewal of the municipal cooperative agreement, setting forth the terms and conditions between the Town of Lancaster and the Village of Lancaster. Now, therefore, be it resolved as follows: that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to execute a municipal cooperative agreement between the Town of Lancaster and the Village of Lancaster, allowing the Town of Lancaster Building Department to perform building permits and inspections for the Village of Lancaster. This agreement shall commence on January 1st, 2025, and continue through December 31st of 2027. And 2, that the town attorney will distribute the executed copies of said agreement to the appropriate parties. Do we have a second?
Second.
And on the question, Matt, any comments?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay. I think it's a very good agreement for both sides, and we look forward to signing that one tonight or tomorrow. Okay, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes. Resolution number 16. Whereas in 2023, the state of New York updated the requirements for harassment policies for all employers in New York State, including municipalities, and whereas the town of Lancaster has been using the updated policy since 2023, but due to administrative oversight, the policy was never formally adopted, and whereas the town board has given the review and consideration to the adoption of the updated harassment policy and finds it to be in the best interest to adopt said policy. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby adopts the updated harassment policy retroactive to 2023 and will supersede any previous versions of such policy, and be it further resolved that the updated harassment policy will be distributed to all current town employees on a yearly basis and all future town employees upon hire. Each employee shall be required to sign receipt of said policy. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, number 17 and 18, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Honorable Board, I offer Resolutions 17 and 18 for adoption. Whereas William Gummo, Chief of Police of the Town of Lancaster Police Department, by email dated December 4th, 2024, has requested the purchase of one new Lenco Bearcat for the use of the Lancaster Police Department. And whereas the above referenced vehicle will be purchased from Lenco Industries out of Pittsfield, Massachusetts, sole source provider of the Lenco Bearcat. And whereas the cost for one new Lenco Bearcat is $350,638 per their quote dated December 2nd, 2024, being paid for from the Police Asset Forfeiture Fund. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby approves the purchase of one new Lenco Bearcat from the sole source provider Lenco Armored Vehicles for a total amount not to exceed $350,638, which will be paid for from the Police Asset Forfeiture Fund.
And do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes.
And number 18, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster does hereby grant a renewal of the special use permit to Timothy Shapansky, President of Northeast Diversification, 954 Ransom Road, Lancaster, New York, for a special use permit to operate a contractor's storage yard including vehicles, equipment, inventory, and construction materials upon the terms and conditions as set forth in the zoning ordinance for the period of January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2026, and that the applicant will continue in compliance with the conditions set forth in industrial districts, special use permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and there are 2 conditions on this renewal.
And do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes. Resolution number 19. Whereas by email dated December 2nd, 2024, Jennifer Strong, attorney for the Town of Lancaster, has requested the purchase of vertical rotating filing cabinets to replace existing unserviceable filing cabinets and an additional lateral filing cabinet. And whereas the above-mentioned filing cabinets are available through School Outfitters, P.O. Box 779193, Chicago, Illinois, under a state purchase contract number PC 70265, and whereas the total cost is $28,408.53 and will be paid out of the law budget, line number 11420.211, office furniture and equipment. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster has previously adopted an operating budget for the 2024 fiscal year, and whereas the 2024 operating budget requires the following budget transfer to law budget line 11420.211, office furniture and equipment to allow for this expenditure. So basically, we're moving $22,510.83 from professional services to office furniture and equipment. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby approves the expenditure of funds as requested by Jennifer Strong, attorney for the Town of Lancaster, to School Outfitters of Chicago, Illinois, under State Purchase Contract PC 70265 in the total amount of $28,408.53 for the purchase of filing cabinets, and be it further resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby approves and authorizes a budget transfer in the 2024 operating budget in the amount of $22,510.83 from budget line 11420.451 to budget line 11420.211. And do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 20, please. Whereas Director of Administration and Finance, Nicholas Swanson, has approved the request from Matt Ficcione, Code Enforcement Officer for the Town of Lancaster, for the recommended adjustments to the town's 2024 adopted budget. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the following budget amendments be and are hereby approved in the 2024 adopted budget of the Town of Lancaster, and this involves moving $8,187.43 from wages to office furniture and equipment. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, number 21, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Board. Whereas on December 5th, 2022, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster approved a site plan submitted by Joseph David of the Angry Buffalo Sports Garden Arena for the construction of a 26,400 square foot building to contain a flag football athletic field located at 2753 Worley Drive. Whereas due to the time it took to receive agency approvals as well as other factors, construction was not started within the 2-year period, and by letter dated November 20th, 2024, Joseph David, project developer, has requested that the Town Board grant an extension to the December 5th, 2022 site plan approval. Whereas the Town Code, Section 400-75D9, provides that the Town Board may grant a one-time additional 1-year extension of the 2-year time limitation for commencement of development from the date of approval. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster, using the authority granted to it under Section 400-75D9, does grant a one-time additional 1-year extension to the 2-year statutory approval of the site plan, previously granted to Joseph David of the Angry Buffalo Sports Garden Arena for the construction of a 26,400 square foot building to contain a flag football athletic field located at 2753 Worthy Drive in the Town of Lancaster, and to commence December 6, 2024 and terminate December 5, 2025 with the following conditions. The contractor is to provide an as-built survey to the building department prior to a certificate of compliance or occupancy being issued. Private improvement permits will be required to initiate site construction, and no further extensions will be granted beyond December 5th, 2025.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Studley, number 22, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Board. I offer resolution number 22 for adoption. Whereas by letter dated December 11th, 2024, Carmen Ciccarelli, our maintenance crew chief for the Town of Lancaster, has requested the Town Board to approve expenditures for the purchase and installation of carpeting over the existing vinyl flooring in the basement entrance, hallway, and staircase at the Lancaster Public Library. And whereas the work will be completed by Western New York Tile and Stone Corp. from North Tonawanda under New York State Contract 69412 for an amount not to exceed $6,285 and to be paid for with funds available in the 2024 library budget line, other capital outlay. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby authorizes the purchase and installation of carpet in the Lancaster Public Library to be completed by Western New York Tile and Stone Corporation for an amount not to exceed $6,285 with the funds allocated in the 2024 library budget line.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 23, whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster has held a public hearing on August 19, 2024, pursuant to Chapter 400 Zoning, Administration and Enforcement, Section 400-78 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster entitled Special Use Permits, upon the application of Gary Anastasia, owner, Anastasia Trucking and Paving Company, to operate a contractor's yard for the processing and storage of topsoil on site located at 324 Pavement Road, SBL number 105.00-2-13.1 in the town of Lancaster. And whereas Matt Ficcione, Code Enforcement Officer, and William Gummel, Police Chief of the town of Lancaster, have agreed to the approval of the special use permit. Now, therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to Chapter 400 Zoning, General Industrial District, GI, Section 400-21 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster does hereby grant Anastasia Trucking and Paving Company a special use permit to operate a contractor's yard for the processing and storage of topsoil on premises located at 324 Pavement Road, upon the conditions as set forth in the zoning ordinance, and the following conditions for the period beginning December 17, 2024, and ending December 16, 2026. Number one, permit must be renewed every 2 years at no additional cost to applicant. Renewal request is considered upon the property owner applying to the town clerk on or before December 15, 2026. Number two, applicant will authorize representatives from the building inspector's office to enter the premises upon reasonable notice to inspect the premises to verify compliance with this permit. Number three, applicant will obtain and provide proof of a valid New York State business license from the appropriate regulatory agency for the service being provided. Number four, business must operate within all confines of the town of Lancaster's noise ordinance, Chapter 221-noise. Number five, proper dust, dirt, and stone remediation practices must be always adhered to. Number six, signage to be installed and remain on 324 Pavement Road, directing trucks exiting the property to go north to Walden Avenue and remain in the truck route. Number seven, outdoor storage is prohibited in the front yard or in any yard abutting a residential district. Outdoor storage shall be screened from adjacent parcels. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Number 24, whereas it is in the public interest to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with Erie County for a joint agreement in regards to funding the development of Walden Ponds Park Athletic Field artificial turf installation, which benefits the residents of the town and county for improved recreational use. And whereas in consideration of the improvements to be made to Walden Pond Parks, the county shall reimburse the town an amount not to exceed $300,000. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to execute an intermunicipal agreement with Erie County to fund an amount not to exceed $300,000 for installation of an athletic turf field at Walden Pond Park, with the term of said agreement expiring on July 1st, 2025. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? And again, I just want to say, like I said in the work session, thanks to Frank Dodaro, our legislator here in Lancaster, for bringing this to the attention of Erie County and getting us $300,000 that'll greatly help out for the turf field going in at Walden Pond Parks. On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 25. Whereas the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, which was signed into law March 11, 2021, established the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds, and whereas $350 billion was appropriated to be used by state, local, and tribal governments across the country to support the response to and recovery from the COVID-19 public health emergency, and whereas the town of Lancaster received $2,802,247.99 in ARPA funds, half in 2021 and half in 2022. And whereas all funds are required to be obligated no later than December 31st, 2024, and expended no later than December 31st, 2026. And whereas the town has previously spent $1,958,273.25 to pay for the provision of government services with funds out of the lost revenue replacement. And whereas the town wishes to recognize the remaining ARPA funds to pay for the provision of government services with funds out of lost revenue replacement. And whereas the provision of government services is a permitted expenditure category by the United States Department of Treasury in its compliance and reporting guidance for state and local fiscal recovery funds. And whereas the Director of Administration and Finance has requested the following budget amendments to amend the 2024 adopted budget to allow for this obligation. We're going to budget amendment, increase line 001-4089, $843,974.74. Increase line 001-1410-100, $200,000. Increase line 001-9901-900, $643,974.74. Increase line 005-0000-5036, $643,974.74. Increase line 005-3120-100, $643,974.74. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster that Section 1, $843,974.74 be obligated and appropriated and expended for the payment of general government support and public safety costs for the year ending December 31st, 2024. Section 2, the Finance Director is authorized and directed to make the necessary adjustments to the 2024 adopted budget. And Section 3, this resolution shall take effect after adoption and at the earliest time allowed by law. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Lear?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, resolutions number 26 and 27, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster held a public hearing on November 18, 2024, pursuant to Chapter 400 Zoning, Administration and Enforcement, Section 478 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, entitled Special Use Permits upon the application of 6699 Transit Road LLC to use the existing building located at 6699 Transit Road as a collision repair shop within the Town of Lancaster. Whereas persons for and against such special use permit have had an opportunity to be heard, and whereas Matt Fischione, Code Enforcement Officer of the Town of Lancaster, has inspected the facility and found it ideal for this use, whereas William Gummo, Chief of Police of the Town of Lancaster, has no objection to the approval of the issuance of the special use permit. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to Chapter 400 Zoning, Article 5, Commercial Districts of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, the Town of Lancaster does hereby grant 6699 Transit Road LLC the special use permit to operate a collision shop on the premise located at 6699 Transit Road within the Town of Lancaster upon the conditions set forth in the zoning ordinance for the following conditions for the period beginning December 17, 2024 and ending December 16, 2026. The conditions are that the permit is to be renewed every 2 years. The applicant will authorize representatives of the building inspector's office to enter the premise upon reasonable notice. Outdoor storage is limited to the rear fenced-in area, and any indoor renovations to suit the occupancy will require an alteration and change in use permit to establish occupancy and fire safety and properly maintain inspection cycles.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Lear?
Yes.
All right, last but not least, number 27. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster held a public hearing on November 18, 2024, pursuant to Chapter 400 Zoning, Administration, Enforcement, Section 400-78 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, entitled Special Use Permits upon the application of Kyle Whalen, Eurocharged NY, business owner to the building located at 515 Pavement Road, Building 1, Suites 12 through 14, is a garage, shop, and space commercial use within the town of Lancaster. Whereas persons for and against such special use permit have had an opportunity to be heard, whereas Code Enforcement Officer Matt Fiscione, the town of Lancaster, has inspected the facility and found deficiencies identified September 14, 2024, and have been remedied. And whereas William Gummo, Chief of Police of the town of Lancaster, has no objection to the approval of the issuance of the special use permit. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to Chapter 400 zoning, Article 5, commercial districts of the Code of the town of Lancaster, the town of Lancaster does hereby grant Kyle Whalen, Eurocharge NY, a special use permit to operate a garage shop space commercial use on premise located at 515 Pavement Road, Building 1, Suites 12 through 14, within the town of Lancaster upon the conditions set forth in the zoning ordinance for the following conditions for the period beginning December 17, 2024 and ending December 16, 2026, and that's that the permit is to be renewed every 2 years. The applicant will authorize representative for the building inspector's office to enter upon reasonable notice. Outdoor storage is prohibited. Waste removal is limited to the existing dumpster. Automotive refuse such as fluids, parts, and tires should be stored inside the unit, and a copy of the current New York State DMV license will be submitted to the town clerk's office.
And do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes. I do want to point out that the clock on the wall is correct right now for the only time tonight.
Twice a day.
Twice a day. Okay. All right, at this point in our meeting, we're going to move on to the presentation of communications by the town clerk. Okay. 678, received and filed. 679, received and filed. 680, received and filed. 681, Planning and Zoning Committee. 682, received and filed. 683, received and filed. 684, received and filed. 685, received and filed. 686, Town Board. 687, received and filed. 688, received and filed. 689, Planning and Zoning Committee. 698, Planning and Zoning. 691, received and filed. 692, Planning and Zoning Committee. 693 is going to go to the Town Engineer. 694, Planning and Zoning. 695 through 701 are resolutions tonight. 702, received and filed. 703, received and filed. 704, received and filed. 705, Town Attorney. 706, Town Attorney. 707 and 708 are resolutions tonight. 709, Planning and Zoning Committee. 710, Planning and Zoning Committee. 711, Planning and Zoning. 712, received and filed. 713, Planning and Zoning. 714, received and filed. 715, Planning and Zoning Committee. 716, received and filed. 717, going to the Director of Finance. 718, resolution tonight. 719, received and filed. 720, resolution tonight. 721, resolution tonight. 722 and 723 have been received and filed. So that concludes the communications for this evening. And now we come to the point in the meeting where any individual can come up desiring to address the town board on any of Town of Lancaster subject for a total period of 30 minutes. Please, anybody who wants to address the town board, raise your hand, be recognized by the supervisor, give your name and address to the town clerk, speak directly to the town board members, not the audience, using the microphone provided, and speak once for 5 minutes or less, unless the town board grants a speaker an extension of this time limit. Do we have anybody at this point who wants to address the town board on any subject matter? And I don't see any hands raised. So at this point in time, can I have a motion to close the meeting?
Motion to close.
Second?
Second.
And on the roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried, meeting adjourned.
All right, thank you very much for coming, folks. We wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year.
Have you ever opposed the motion to close the meeting? On this, well, we're having so much fun, let's just keep going.
Hey, Mark, are you good to be part of the negotiations?
Yeah.
Okay. I got the sample.
I wasn't sure what permit that was. They just came out with